Yes, here we go. Shot of FootyCast live from BackChat Studios. The Southern River Band boys out of Thornley. I'm catching up with Cal tonight, taking him to the Socceroos game. He's a big soccer man, Cal, so we thank them for their introduction music for about 3 years now. Probably should be paying them royalties, but we're not. Welcome to the Shot of FootyCast. A sad day or a happy day, depends how you look at it. Mark Reddings has decided to go on holidays or do some cashies down south, I can only assume. But sitting in his spot, a very competent and qualified replacement, Adam Papalea, 6PR and Fox Footy's own. Hello, Paps.
Hey, let's go. That's how you want to be known. It's just competent. That's good. I can get my job done.
Did I say qualified or both?
A bit of both, maybe.
You don't have to, honestly, you don't have to be too much to cover for Skeeter.
No, big shoes to fill.
Yes.
And I'm prepared for it because I knew that this was coming and I had to fill in for Skeet. So last night I went and emceed 5 functions. I've got a couple of slips in my pocket. I had a whiskey and I don't have a Logie, but I went and polished up the old under-15s trophy just to put on the shelf just for anyone that walks in the door.
We should have bought his Logie in here as like a replacement. Far
just
out.
As a tribute.
So Skeeter's on holiday apparently. I'm not sure what sort of operation he's running.
I shouldn't have ticked that off at 6PR actually, should I?
I think his mum drove him down south yesterday. No, I can't bag him while he's not here, but I will proceed to do that for the rest of the show. Big show, of course, perhaps. I thought also fitting, given it's the Bunbury game, the Southwest game. You're a Busselton man.
Absolutely.
You're a Shelter man.
Well, yep. Busted out the hoodie just for today.
I've seen you on multiple occasions introduce yourself as the mayor of Busselton. So I thought none better around to get you in to chat all things Southwest footy.
Yeah, mate, it's massive this week. I think for the people down there, it's been a big build-up. Obviously, a little test event in the pre-season, which got everyone excited about it, and then it's going to another level on Sunday in terms of the amount of people that they're going to get in. So, yeah, it's going to be brilliant, and the build-up's been excellent to it, and just putting the name forward again for the third team in WA.
So on that, let's just start with that. I've got a few things to get through, but I think it's probably relevant. Do you think, I know you push it, but do you actually think that's a possibility for
Absolutely.
the 20th licence, or maybe even the 19th licence, depending on what happens in Tassie?
Yeah, things are going on in Tassie. 20th licence, I think at the moment it's more likely to go up Northern Territory way, but do I think it would work better in the Southwest? Absolutely. Do I think it would add to the footy experience in Western Australia? Absolutely. Will there be a third team in WA? Absolutely there will be. It's just whether I'll still be here to see it or not.
Really? You think we'll go past 20?
One day it'll happen.
That's probably right.
The league is just going to expand continually. It has to. You're eventually going to get more teams in the league. And I'm talking long term. Eventually there'll be a third team in WA. Eventually there'll be a third team in South Australia. And the league will build because it just has to as the population gets bigger and the fight for dollars gets bigger and broadcast rights get bigger. The question is that in 10 years' time or is that in 50 years' time?
That's a very good point. I never actually thought further than about a year in front of me, to be honest.
That's why everyone's like, it'll never happen. How can you say never? Like, never is a very long time. So sometime in the future, it's going to happen. And I just want people to have a bit of foresight with this type of stuff and get on the front foot and get the planning done, get the feasibility studies done so that if the option comes up that the AFL goes, okay, actually now we want a 20th licence. You've done all that work and you're ready to go.
So it sounds like, if I can just read between the lines, just like I said, Hawthorn would guaranteed to win against Collingwood. You're guaranteeing a team in the Southwest in the future.
At some point in the future.
All right, I like that.
And because that goes on for infinity, then I could never be wrong until it actually happens.
Very good. Love that, Paps. We've got a bit going on today. Of course, our numbers over the last couple of months have been brought to us by Aspect Accountants. If you're a small business owner or even looking to take your side hustle to the next level, you get a few side hustles? Oh, here you are, I suppose.
Yeah. Hello.
You got to get in touch with Aspect Accountants then, Paps. This is close to the end of financial year, and you can touch base with Ben and the team in there. The free initial consultations on all things accounting and tax. Just go to aspect.accountants.com.au and reach out there. I know a few of you have already done that, so we appreciate that. I spoke to Ben last week and he said that a few people from the Shuttle FootyCast get in touch. I have been head in books getting my tax done. Ben's like, mate, get your stuff done. Come on, he's a brilliant operator. I've got enough side hustles for him to handle.
I'm terrible with that stuff too.
Correct. Well, that's why you need Ben. So that'll be numbers. And of course, a reminder, Frothies with FootyCast and friends. That'll be at Shelter this Saturday, 5 p.m. Skeet will have his mum drop him off at the front door, wait out the front for him in the car.
And the pickup as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's probably more where he needs. He's going to come with betting tickets stuffed in his pockets from the Dunsborough tab, coming down to Busselton for a beer. If you are in the area, we'd love to see you. Just jump on either shelterbrewing.com.au or any of our social medias. There's links there. We just need to know you're coming, so just let us know. You just put your name on a list and it's free to be there.
I'm very disappointed I'm not going to be there.
Right, so let me just get this straight. You, Adam Papalea, the Mayor of Busselton, right, the man who's been pushing the strongest for a team in Bunbury.
Yep.
You're going to the game?
I am going to the game.
Right.
Yes.
But the night before?
Not going to be in Busselton, unfortunately.
You'd be a little bit dusty? You don't want to reveal what you're doing?
Possibly. No, I can reveal what I'm doing.
This is a sort of Mark Redding's written all over it, to be honest.
For reasons. And I'm not working, which is remarkable on the Saturday night, so I'm not working.
Are you working on the Sunday?
No. So we're going to watch the game with the family.
That's also remarkable.
It. Yeah. So first game this year that I haven't been working at. So it'll actually be quite nice. So, but Saturday, my younger brother is getting married in October, and it is his Bucks party on Saturday night.
Oh, yes.
So he's from down south, and a lot of his mates are from down south, and all of our families from down south. But for some reason, the Bucks party's in Perth.
Oh, boy.
So I've got to stay in Perth, go to that on Saturday, and then Sunday we're going to drive down and go to the footy.
So keep your eyes peeled for a minibus coming up the highway at about 6 a.m. with a bus full of absolute lunatics.
Or if you come to say hello at the footy on the Sunday and I'm a bit grumpy, that's fine.
Oh, that's brilliant. All right, let's get into some of the moments of the round. I do remind you, before we do that, Lager 20 on the Shelter website, shelterbrewing.com.au. That is what we are asking. Is the footy better with Shelter for the following weeks of footy? Shelter's best beer, the lager. I will reveal that. We're going to ask what Adam Papalea thinks about it in just a little bit. But we know Skeeter is a big lager man. So Lager 20 on the website gets you 20% off. Go and get it right now, delivered to your door for the footy, and you can let us know, is the footy better with Shelter? Okay.
Almost. The fact that Skeet's a lager man does not surprise me.
Of course. Mate, we made him taste an export stout and he almost passed away right there. It went straight to into his brain.
Anything with a bit of flavour, too much.
He had 2 sips and he was going, Monster Cocklu. He lost the plot. 2 sips, but it was 9 a.m. Okay, I almost called you Skeet. I'm going to see if I can get away with not calling you Skeet for the rest of the show. Let's talk about some big moments. Perhaps start with Tassie, I think, mate. That feels like the biggest story at the moment. This is a political story, though. It should be sort of remembered, I think, that this isn't AFL and teams and CEOs jostling. It's been approved and committed to and from an AFL perspective, but this is a political story.
Yeah.
That has a footy slant.
Yeah.
So what do you... You've spoken to a few people, we've heard a few people interviewed. Is this putting this in serious jeopardy, or is it just a changing of hands and it's going to happen anyway?
I think... I find it really hard to think that the licence isn't going to go ahead. The biggest thing that is at play here is the stadium. So is the stadium going to go ahead? The AFL has been pretty adamant the whole way through that if there's no stadium with a roof, and that is the big point to it, is needs a stadium with a roof in Hobart, that they won't get that licence in a couple of years' time. With the change in government, potentially, then the vote on whether that stadium goes ahead or not is the thing that is in jeopardy, and whether the political parties are going to support that. At the moment, as I understand it, both sides are supportive of the licence and trying to get this done, but they're obviously all jostling for power and who's going to go ahead. And then you look to see what, if they go to another election, which is quite remarkable because they've only just had one, as to what the political makeup is after that, and who's got more seats and where the votes sit and all that type of thing. So it's in some doubt for sure. And there's lots of people in Tasmania who are really worried about it. And if it doesn't go ahead, it'll be so disappointing for all those fans in Tassie who've so desperately wanted a team. The biggest question is, if they don't get a stadium, should the team still go ahead and just play out of Bellerive and or Launceston?
Yeah, so one of those, Launceston is almost 20,000 people, I think. I think it's a 19,000 seat stadium. And I looked at a picture of it, and it's like a pretty good stadium.
Yeah.
It's always in good nick. It's pretty windy.
Yep. Hawthorn play down there a lot.
Yeah. But like clearly they've looked at that and they can't put a roof on it, I'm assuming. You know, you can't just, put it's not putting a tent up. You can't just put a roof over a stadium. I think they'd find a way to sort of do it middle ground. But I probably would peel it back from that. Here in Perth, right, we're Optus Stadium. That took a long time to build. That wasn't decision made next year it was built.
Yep.
Like it went all the way back to Barnett, I think, Colin Barnett.
He was the one that got it all
McGowan opposed it, right, and then he got into power. The opposition in politics, I'm the least political person I know, at least, but I'm just not a political person. Usually have sleepy Joe Biden next to me, but that's about as political as I get. The opposition, by definition, opposes, right, political parties in power, what they're doing. So, like, I use the example here in Perth. Basil Zempilas is the most pro-sport, activity-based mayor that we saw over the last 4 years. Every sport thing that's coming to Perth at the moment is saying no because the current political party, whoever that is saying yes. The opposition opposes it. So I think it gets done. I actually think there's a bit of a storm in the teacup. They'll sort their shit out at Parliament House in Tassie. Someone will get overthrown, and then whoever else is new, they'll be like, "This is a great idea," and we're doing it. I don't think it's not going to get done, to be honest.
It's more about how much it gets delayed.
Right.
So if you get pushed down the track, you do another election, and then nothing gets ticked off for another 12, 18 months.
Right.
Then do you get a stadium ready in time for when the Devils are going to come into the competition?
Maybe not, but they'll just have to. They'll then maybe play across both of them. And
correct. So there'd be ways around it. But the AFL at this stage is saying that the licence is conditional on there being a stadium ready to go, all approved with a roof on it.
That's just they're just trying to hold power. Like it's just a power struggle. And I just reckon we saw some emotion yesterday from those involved at Tassie. I just reckon for the people of Tasmania, it needs to happen. This is a politics in front of people thing that's going on, and it pisses me off. All right, let's go. Let's keep moving. Tom Morris reporting Jamarra Ugle-Hagan wants to play for Sydney in 2025. If I can start on this one, perhaps. This has been an interesting story. I reckon if you're paying attention closely to this podcast, at least, I said before the season started, Jamarra won't play for Western Bulldogs this year, and he has not and will not. And so the question is, well, is that a good idea for Sydney? The Western Bulldogs let it happen? Whatever goes on. I'm pretty hesitant to criticise players too much, especially with off-field stuff. I think that there's enough pressure from enough people around. But in this instance specifically, regardless of what's happening off-field for Jamarra, which sounds like a lot, as a teammate and as someone that has played in teams all my life and valued that element the highest, which then led to winning. Like they're my two motivations, not money, not contract length, not fame, not ego. It was teammate first, be a good team, win games of footy. He has demonstrated, for whatever reason, that he can't do that. So for Sydney, I think that's the biggest risk in the world. His talent clearly is there. The money and contract side, that'll get sorted out. If you've got someone who's already demonstrated that they just walk out on their team, I as a teammate, if I was at Sydney, as a potential teammate, would be going, I don't know if I want this bloke at my club. So that's the decision they've got to make. I don't think it's a contractual decision. I don't think it's a money decision. I think it's a, will he buy in, or will the same thing happen? Because I don't know. I don't want someone at my footy club that's just like, one day I wake up and I'm not going to play for your club anymore.
Yeah,
it's about as bad as it gets, I reckon.
You'd think that, if he's moving clubs, there'd be some pretty significant conversations happening as to round and putting things around, parameters around if that was to happen again, and some sort of clause to protect the club a little bit from that happening in the future. But for Sydney, they will be looking at that going from a football sense. What do they need more than anything else as a team? A forward. Yeah. And Jamarra Ugle-Hagan's one with an extreme amount of talent, still at a young age, that can provide that for them. Sydney have always backed themselves in as a side that can take players and mould them into the culture there at Sydney, and playing up in New South Wales can help get you out of the fishbowl and the bubble that is in Melbourne and the headlines and that type of thing. So
Jesse Hogan could be used as an example.
Exactly. Even Buddy Franklin going up there enjoyed the lifestyle of a bit more anonymity, even if he's ever been able to be capable of something like that up there. But
he didn't walk out on his teammates before that, though.
No, that's a very different scenario. But I'm talking more about just the ability to go up to New South Wales and not have footy on the back page every day, and maybe not have yourself on the back page all the time, and enjoy that quieter look at life up there that might actually help him in this scenario. So there's still a fair bit to play out. I agree with you. It doesn't look like we're going to see him at the Bulldogs again. So he'll want to continue his footy career, and I would think there'd be more than just the Sydney Swans, if that's the case.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chasing him, because he's at his best, and that's what always the clubs look at, is what are they at their best, and can we back ourselves in to get them to play that?
Oh, I think from a personal level, I hope it works out for him. I hope he goes to Sydney, and I think it'll be great to see him play footy again and he gets his life on track. But
still very young.
I'm talking from a Sydney point of view, not a Jamarra point of view. From a Jamarra point of view, I hope he goes well and has a great life. But if you're Sydney, that's actually not the conversation. It's like, is this risk too big? And I think it might be.
They'll be doing their due diligence around that.
Absolutely. Harley Reid, more likely to stay now.
What's changed here, Scully?
Oh, nothing, mate. Why is the conversation start at, what's West Coast going to get when they trade him? Why can't it start at, it's a young player in his second last year of his why isn't it? How long's Harley Reid? How many games is Harley Reid going to play for West Coast?
Yeah.
Why isn't it? Where's he going to finish as the all-time greats at West Coast? Why does it have to start at he's being traded? Yes, he's got a contract on the table. We know that. I would say he's not alone in that around the competition, by the sounds of things.
Yep.
I think we're starting to get towards areas of it's not sort of tampering or anything like that, but. Yeah, it's just a weird, with a lot of shows now talking about, traded and gettable and all this stuff, like, what's it going to take to get this person? We're getting more and more into that realm of, you got a second-year player here, and then we're talking about, he's more likely to stay now, he's going to go. I think he stays. I don't think I've really shifted too much in that. I think he stays. Whether that's a good decision or not, I don't know, but I think Harley Reid stays, at least for a couple more years.
It works both ways. Clearly, in the West, we talk about the WA players that should be coming back, and they're always a target to come back for home reasons. So it's the same, with Victorians going back the other way, or wherever you're from. If you want to go back home and play there for those types of reasons, I think for this, I'm probably a bit sick of the is he going, is he not? Not just for Harley, but for Luke Jackson and for other players as well. It's like, okay, they might go. There's still a half a footy of the season to play. Nothing's happening till October. Can we just focus on that for now? And if he's playing good footy or not playing good footy, and focus on that. And then the is he leaving or not, save that for later in the year or until a contract is signed.
Did you happen to see...
Is that too head in the sand or
I don't know,
wishing
mate.
Too much for...
Well, maybe it's going to happen soon, who knows. But did you just happen to see Tab Touch and BackChat put together a thing with Luke Jackson, a lie detector test, around what it'd take, what he'd give to win a premiership with Freo? We got all the way to, would he take his left arm off? But he answered truthfully. He was going to give up everything. I think he said something like he would crawl forever, like not allowed to walk. He would eat things but not be able to taste it. He would only catch buses across the country to play games of footy. It was very good. Maybe Luke Jackson with a mention there wins a premiership and he gets to do all those things. Finishing us off, perhaps a couple of changes imminent. One has been made and another one imminent at AFL head office. Sounds like Greg Swan has taken my job as the AFL executive, as the football performance boss. He'll be sitting over things like tribunal, like umpiring, state of the game.
MRO.
MRO. So, I probably, I've just missed out there by the sounds of things. And then...
you would have been very good, mate.
The AFL, well, I'd be strong at least. The AFL hoping Tom Harley joins as the COO, which is effectively second in charge behind Dills.
Yep.
What do you think of those two names, appointments and general vibes at AFL head house after those, couple of names being thrown into the mix?
I think the AFL clubs in general, particularly with Greg Swan going in there, will be a little more appeased as to the processes going on, and someone with so much experience and successful experience as well to go in there and try to shape those things. I think the more quality people you can get in there, the better it's going to be, right? Rather than one person looking after so many different things. If you can split it up like they have and get things stronger in each of those departments, that's got to be a beneficial thing for the game. And it's been a source of frustration, a lot of those different areas. So it's going to take quite a lot to actually turn it around and get it done. Tom Harley as well has done a great job up there in Sydney, and if he comes down and helps out again with that executive team, then they're only going to get stronger. So theoretically, things only get better down the track. It's a big loss for both Queensland and New South Wales football, losing two pretty experienced teams out.
Well, does that have anything to do with it? The Sydney and Brisbane elements, like Swan working in Queensland, Harley in New South Wales, two areas where the AFL is continuing to hopefully expand, or are they just the best people and good people?
I think they're just the best people that, one, have been enticed to look at the job. I think there's been lots of people they've canvassed, and they're the ones that they think can come in and help and get it done. But for those local markets, it's certainly a bit of a blow losing both of those people who are highly experienced there in two areas that the AFL are absolutely trying to grow. But having their influence inside AFL House will help with that as well. But I think overall, the stronger you can make that AFL team, the better the league is ultimately. So hopefully they can come in and do a good job and really try and help, I think, make the game simpler for people.
I thought you were going to say make the game great again.
Yeah, drain the swamp, make the game great again. That's more like a Sleepy Joe reference.
No, I mean, that's something I'd roll out usually.
No, just to make things simpler for footy fans to follow in all aspects, from the player movement to the rules of the game to the MRO, and get people feeling a bit more positive about following it. Like, everyone loves watching footy, but there's a lot of things that do frustrate people as well. So if they can simplify some of those, I think that'll just make it a much easier game for everyone to follow. Shelter
Brewing Co., the beer that we can't get enough of. Will Schofield, Adam Papalia, Shelter FootyCast. All right, Paps, let's get into some of the games this weekend. We've got some teams on a bye, and those teams are Fremantle, of course, and St Kilda. Only two this week. We've got 5 bye rounds, which is a little bit...
Too many. Way too many.
Okay.
Just have one weekend off.
I'm going to do my best to fire you up
Everyone
today,
take a break.
Because Adam Papalia, you don't seem, ladies and gentlemen, fired up enough. And when he gets fired up, it's very good. So we'll start with, let's talk about, the advantage rule or father-son. No.
Let's go.
Very good. No, let's talk about North Melbourne and West Coast. Hands Oval, Bunbury, Sunday, 1:20 Perth time. Have you ever played at Hands Oval?
Me played? No, definitely not.
You played anywhere?
No, yeah. A little bit further south than that, but only very, very junior days. But no, not at Hands Oval, I don't think.
I heard it gets windy.
It was there in the pre-season. I haven't actually looked at the conditions for Sunday in terms of the wind factor, but there'll be a bit more protection for the game this week because the temporary grandstands that they've put in. So people that saw it through the pre-season, I think that was at about 8,000-9,000, and they've put some extra grandstands in on top of that now, so that's up to about 15.
That's a pretty big crowd.
People in. Yeah, it's a great crowd, and it's sold out in 15 minutes, and it's going to be a great occasion. They'll sort of close a lot of the roads down around there, and people file in and really enjoy it, I think, on the day. Footy in Bunbury, I think people, Hands Oval's been the venue to get it done. If you were to put a third team in, you'd need obviously a better stadium facility than that. But they've done a lot of work there in the recent years. The actual main grandstand there, all the facilities have been redone. There's new broadcast boxes. And
the broadcast facilities are amazing.
Yeah, really good, really good. So they've done a great job and have been really helpful with everyone trying to get down there and broadcast the game, and looking forward to it. So it's the first of, 3 years that they're going to be playing games down there. So
right, is that the deal?
Yeah. I think it's only going to get bigger and better as the years go on. And, really great for people of Southwest to get a game for premiership points down there.
So you'd think that it'd swap? So Freo will play down in Bunbury next year.
I would think so,
West Coast at home.
Yeah, and then swap it around. And then obviously the Kangaroos stay in town for a week and then play at Optus Stadium the week after.
That's a good point. I think, to be honest, I think more clubs should be looking at doing this, not selling their games. And I know you're,
that is one. And
you don't like the Kangaroos have done that.
Consistent the whole way through with this. I love the fact that there's footy in the Southwest and that there's a game over here. The fact it's a North Melbourne home game, if I'm a fan of the Kangaroos that's not based in WA, I'd be filthy that my team is selling a game for premiership points into a market that is going to be predominantly the fans of the other team. So it's not like when you sell a game to Alice Springs, and I know that conversation came up this week about Melbourne, and obviously they lose a game there. It's not the same as going to Darwin. It's not the same as going to Tassie for now, there's no Tassie team down there.
Canberra, maybe.
Canberra is another example where we've got a game this weekend. But selling a game into a market where the majority of fans in the building are going to be barracking against you, that's not going to help you win. You've played enough footy to know that it's much easier to win at home than it is away or when people are cheering for you. So I know it's great money in the bank and it's brilliant for a bit of equalisation in the competition for West Coast and Freo, which is something the AFL were really trying to get done to make sure that they didn't have to travel as much. And you look at the roster coming up for West Coast and Freo in terms of the amount of home games they've got in a row, and the block like a month at home in the middle of the season, how beneficial is that, again, for West Coast and Freo? But for North Melbourne, what are you doing a little bit? You're getting money in the door, but...
that's what they're doing.
What does it mean for them? If you were a serious team trying to make the finals... They are by getting money in. You can't compete in this league, I don't think, if you don't have the money, and they don't have the money. So that's what they've identified. But everyone has to spend the same amount.
Yeah, I know, but clearly North Melbourne, if you look at this matchup, North Melbourne v West Coast, West Coast are at the bottom of the ladder now, but I think money is clearly an issue. That's why they've done it. And that's from a competitive point of view.
How do you put money on 4 points? How do you balance that up? And
they've done it.
If this was any other team, just about, than North Melbourne, imagine the outcry that would be happening over there on the East Coast, selling it into... And next week's even worse because you're playing at Optus Stadium.
I don't like that one.
Which is Fremantle's home ground.
Yeah, that one feels weird. I think they probably should have played them both at Bunbury.
Yeah.
To play one at Optus Stadium, which is literally going to be full of free... that feels weirder than a local.
Yeah, and I agree with that too. I think that the home ground advantage is less in Bunbury than what it is.
Because Bunbury isn't West Coast home ground.
No, it's not. But the amount of supporters in the ground, it's still going to be 90% Eagles fans.
I don't think. Look, okay. I don't think the supporters, and they make a great difference, and it's awesome to have a home crowd. But I don't think that's the home ground advantage. It's the ground. It's the comfortability of being in your own home. It's the driving 10 minutes to the ground. It's the all of that. The non-flying. Yes. Crowd has a bit to do with it, but I don't think that's what they've completely lost. We better get into this.
I'll cop that with Bunbury, but the Optus Stadium one. I mean, if North Melbourne were, and their season hasn't gone the way they wanted it to, but say they missed the finals by a game, and they lose 2 games in WA because they've sold 2 home games. How would that sit?
Yeah, we'll see if that happens.
It's not going to happen this year. But in the future, in the next 3 years, when they're trying to push forward with this deal's for, it might do.
Well, I can tell you perhaps that the last 4 games between these teams have all been decided by under 10 points.
The North have won in WA in recent seasons.
We could have a very good game on our hands. Jamie Cripps could push for selection. He didn't play. Yeah, he had his knee surgery. Liam Ryan sounds like he could be in doubt due to a leg knock. So that would be a big out for West Coast. North are coming off their bye. So we'll have to wait and see what changes they make. They no doubt would have reviewed their first half of the season, what they're doing well and what they're not. Since round 9, thanks to Aspect Accountants, the Kangaroos have won the around-the-ground clearances by 11 per game, ranked number 1 in the competition. That is the Tristan Cherry effect, I believe. How's this one going to go with that ruck battle, the contested game, which we saw in person at this ground? North dominate West Coast, at least for a half, and they lost their way a little bit. How do we see this game going?
If there is a breeze like we saw in the pre-season, win the toss, kick with it, and put some score on the board and go from there. It's probably the first starting point. Cherry in the ruck against Flynn will be a really intriguing battle. If the Eagles can get enough out of Flynn to try to halve that a little bit or three-quarters it, I don't know.
Honestly, I reckon ruckmen make it complicated sometimes. If you just said to Matt Flynn, you've just got to make it contest. We know you may not be better than him and you may not win. You can't be beaten soundly. Don't even worry about anything. Just follow him around. Right? Kicks up down the line, just spoil the ball. Like it's honestly not that hard.
Yeah.
When they start going, I'm going to go and stand in the corridor and I'm going to work with my teammates and not ruckman and anyone else, not smart enough for it. So just go and beat him. Hey, Matt Flynn, beat him.
Yeah.
That's it.
But Cherry's been really good this year, even when he's been sort of battling through a bit of injury too. So I think he holds a pretty big key to the game. For the Eagles, if they can bring the pressure that they've been able to show over the last 6 weeks, when they've played their best footy, they'll be right in this game. So it's two teams that have not had many wins over the last few years. So hopefully it should be another close one like it has been in recent seasons.
Remind me what time your Zoom meeting is.
What time is it? Oh, in about 15 minutes.
Perfect. Perfect. No, I want to know what time I finish this show by. What time is it? 9:45 or 9:30?
9:30.
Okay, perfect. All right, we're going to wrap this up very quickly. Paps is out the door.
Are we still on air?
Yeah, we're still on air. This is our podcast work, mate. Skeeter's usually off for the cashy by this stage. Who are you picking, North or West Coast?
Because of what I said before, I'll go with West Coast because it's a game in WA.
Okay, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, is the footy better with Shelter Lager? This is on the line right now for your chance, just like Jared last week, to win an $800 giveaway. That's right, Paps. You'll be able to attest to all of these things. A night accommodation at the Hilton in Busselton. Great hotel. A bottle of Credaro wine.
Very good winery.
2 bars of Otto's chocolate, a new chocolate store down there.
Haven't been in yet. Taking the kids there on Monday, I think.
Dinner and beer at Shelter for 2 people.
Can confirm that is very good.
Burger and beers at the Golf Par 3 for 2 people.
Now, the Par 3 in Busso is one of my favourite places in the world. Can confirm, have hit a hole in one there before.
Well, there we go. Take Paps along with you if you want to get beaten.
Terrible golfer, have hit a hole in one there before.
And you can finish it all off. That's bloody very
Bounced
impressive.
off about 5 trees.
Greatest sporting achievement.
But it went in.
Let's play mini golf at a Par 3.
Yeah, went on to the major course.
1 carton of Shelter to finish you off. If you had to pick a carton of Shelter, I'm assuming you're picking a lager, mate.
No way. No, I'm not.
You're not a lager,
I'm not, bland like Sleepy Joe. I'm going for something with a little bit of flavour in it, thank you very much. So I am part of the Shelter Beer Club.
Yes.
And so I get the beer delivered to me every couple of months.
There we go.
And I get Tom at Shelter just to replace the lager for me because
you're not a lager man.
I'm not lager man. I like the XPA is very, very good. But the red ale is probably my favourite.
Okay, very good. XPA good too. But we're asking this week, does the footy sound or look better with a Shelter Lager? Lager 20 will get you 20% off out of my pocket at checkout, shelterbrewing.com.au to be delivered to your door. Be like Paps. If it doesn't make it better, let us know. We want to know. So go to shelterfootycast.com.au. Click on the form there. Is the footy better with Shelter? And let us know. We had lots of entries last week for the export stout. This week it's the lager. All right. Lager 20. Get going. Western Bulldogs v... who are you picking? North Melbourne, West Coast?
I said West Coast.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm picking North. Western Bulldogs v Hawthorn at Marvel Stadium. Skeeter would be like, you're picking North. What are you talking? Western Bulldogs, Hawthorn, Marvel Stadium, Thursday night. Rematch of last year's elimination final where the Hawks smashed the Dogs at the MCG. This is at Marvel, though. James Sicily will be out for the next couple of weeks due to his hip injury. Sam Butler, not the Premiership edition, returns for Hawthorn for his first AFL game in 418 days after badly breaking his leg. Last year, he's dominated the VFL the last 3 weeks, and Adam Treloar looks set to return after this calf injury that has ruined his year so far. How do you reckon this game's going, and who have you got?
I'm hoping there'll be a high-scoring affair. These two teams do like to attack when they can, and especially under the lid there at Marvel. Hopefully the ball's just ping-ponging around a bit and plenty of score on the board. The Bulldogs, they're a team that I think has played really well this year despite having a number of injuries. Treloar back, I think, really helps their midfield depth through there, even though they don't really need it right now with the form that Ed Richards has been in and the way Kennedy stepped up and been a really good recruit for them, and of course Bontempelli. But Treloar just adds, another layer to that with his running power too, and I hope that he can keep his body right with those soft tissue injuries. But I can't tip Hawthorn just based on their recent form in the last few weeks. They have to be better, right? And I know you said they're going to not lose a game for the rest of the season and go on and win the flag, but I think the Dogs get it done. Isn't that what you said, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is.
You guarantee that they're going to win every game for the rest of the year?
Didn't realise Skeeter was sitting next to me. Far out. Can't say anything in this town. All right, thanks to Aspect Accountants. Some numbers for this game. The Bulldogs have won 5 of their last 6 games off their bye in mid-season, which is a record that not many hold. And the Bulldogs have won their past 9 games at Marvel Stadium by an average of 48 points. However, the Hawks beat them there last year by 7 points. I am picking the Bulldogs. Adelaide versus Brisbane. Adelaide Oval.
Hold on. You got to stick with the team that you back.
Fine. I'll pick Hawthorn.
Win 5 in a row.
I'll pick Hawthorn. Okay.
You can't be switching around.
You know
like
what?
that.
You're right, Paps. I picked Hawthorn. They're going to bloody go on a run. I guarantee it.
I hope the Bulldogs win now.
Adelaide versus Brisbane. Seriously, this is exactly what happens with skate. Idiots. Adelaide versus Brisbane. Adelaide Oval. Friday night. We've got great Thursday and Friday night matchups here. This is a very, very big game. Lachie Neale's 150th game for Brisbane. Oscar McInerney has missed the last 3 weeks with soreness. I don't know what sore, but expect him to return. And thanks to Aspect Accountants, Brisbane are number 1 in the comp for clearances and Adelaide are second. So whoever can get in on top there, I reckon, has a good chance at winning this one.
Big time. This is a great game. Looking forward. We'll do this one on radio together as well on 6PR on Friday. And I think if this was the Gabba, I'm tipping Brisbane. It feels like one of those games. Given it's in Adelaide, I think the Crows can get it done. They'll be setting themselves like this is a massive test for them of their credentials as a top 4 team this year. And I think with the form that their forward line's been in right now, I think they can get it done at home.
Okay, very good. I will take Brisbane, just getting their season going a little bit, but it's going to be a very, very good game. That's probably an upset. Brisbane. Richmond v Sydney at the MCG. Bit of a weird one. Nick and John Blakey are becoming the 11th father-son duo to reach 500 VFL AFL games. Paps's favourite combos, the father-sons. John played 359 for Fitzroy, so he's holding up his end of the bargain at the moment, and North Melbourne, of course. And Nick is playing his 141st game. It's a pretty good effort.
Absolutely, it is.
Good. I thought you might be like, they shouldn't be there. You shouldn't be at Sydney.
I love the romance.
You hate the romance. You know they do. Richmond, thanks to Aspect, Richmond has beaten Sydney the last 2 times. Both were at the MCG.
Yeah.
Is there an upset brewing in this one?
Is this one at the G or Marvel?
It says MCG. I think it's right.
I think...
I don't know where anywhere's played. I don't know what the times mean. I just read what's on the prompter. Like Ron Burgundy.
I think this one is an absolute toss of the coin job this week. I mean, you can't trust Richmond. You can't trust Sydney with the way that they've played in recent times. If we don't see a response from the Swans this week, there's got to be some significant issues there. So, look, I'm just going to bank on the fact that they've had 2 terrible weeks. They've had, some reported 6 a.m. beach sessions and
that doesn't work anymore.
Type of thing. I think we'll see them play a bit better. Their best clearly should be better than Richmond's right now, but I've been really impressed by the way the Tigers have gone about it this year with the spirit that they've played with such a young team.
Noah Bolter's off his curfew, so he will be back into the side. And Callum Mills, the skipper, returns from suspension, so a couple of ins there. I think Sydney beat Richmond, but don't know why I'm picking them. I'm not sure what's happening with my tips this week. You're making me nervous this week, perhaps. Geelong v Gold Coast at Alphabet Stadium down in Geelong's MHBA. Cardinia Park, 4th v 5th. So there's some massive matchups this week. This is another great game. Both sides on 8 wins. But Gold Coast have a game in hand because they'll be playing Essendon twice at the end of the year, which is going to be an absolute debacle. I can guarantee that. Gold Coast, thanks to Aspect Accountants, have never won at GMHBA Stadium. They are 0-8, an average losing margin of 72 points. Only club to have never won there. Do they have a chance this week against the Cats?
Absolutely they do. And I think they could win this game, the Suns. I think obviously a bit of a blip for them against Freo last week in the wet, but Geelong coming back from Perth, late Sunday game. I think that plays a little bit of a factor too. And the Suns are a much better team this year than we've seen at any time that they've gone down there to play at the Cattery before. So that gives them a much better chance. This is very close to game of the round, I think. Really looking forward to it.
Who do you pick?
Suns for me.
Jeremy Cameron has kicked 5, 6 and 7 goals in the last 3 weeks. He's also kicked more goals against Gold Coast than any other team, 66 goals from 17 games, an average of 4 a game. I know who's going to him, Sam Collins. It's going to be a great matchup. I think Jeremy Cameron wins the Coleman for what it's worth, and I'm going to pick the Cats only because it's in Geelong. All right, GWS v Port Adelaide at Manuka Oval in Canberra. I didn't know that was happening until you said it. Paps, of course, Saturday night game in Canberra. It's going to be fresh.
What's it called now? Corroboree Group Stadium, something like that.
No, it's not.
Yeah, they
Corroboree.
Yeah, they've changed the sponsor.
Corroboree can't be that.
That's what it is.
I'm going to have to find that out. That's very good. We know Callum Ward is out for the Giants. Did I see somewhere that he was saying that his season's not done or something? Did I see somewhere that he was level hopes?
Or that he just hadn't made a decision yet.
Right, okay. Jeez, tough work there. Brent Daniels will face a fitness test for his first game since round 4. Gee, he's been a big out. I didn't realise he was not playing for the Giants. They scraped through against Richmond in a bit of a nail-biter last week. The Giants, since 2016, thanks to Aspect Accountants, Port Adelaide have only won once in their first game post the mid-season bye. They only won with a Dan Houston kick after the siren too. That's a stat. In 10 years, they've won once.
Did you buy into that? They've offered buy, better, worse?
Well, so that's just luck, is it?
I don't know.
Not in 10 years. Mate, that's a thing, absolutely.
Look, it depends who you come up against in those games after the bye as well.
But you can't just 10 years in a row come up against a good side.
If you play the team off the top of the ladder 10 years in a row off the bye, then that makes a difference.
Sure. Okay. Who do you think wins it in Canberra?
Giants.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think Port Adelaide's going well enough. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they change anything around. Jason Horner-Francis will not be back. Been playing Miles Bergman inside. He'll be entering my dream team this week. Carlton, I'm picking Giants too. Carlton v Essendon MCG Sunday night game.
Yep.
What?
Public holiday in Melbourne on Monday for
Right.
King's birthday. So similar we saw in WA with a Sunday night game. They've got another one this week.
Okay. Jack Silvani and Zach Williams expected to return for Carlton. 2 big ins. Darcy Parish has successfully got through 2 VFL matches. I haven't seen his name for a long time.
Yeah.
So they're the ins. Carlton have won 4 of the past 5 against Essendon, and Carlton have won on an average of 50 points in their first game off a bye in the last 3 seasons, thanks to Aspect Accounting.
They played against a bottom team on the ladder.
Yeah, well, who knows? Maybe they're just good off a bye, perhaps. Interesting game.
It's
interesting.
2 teams you can't trust at all. So a hard game to tip.
Yes.
They've both had good form at times. I think the Blues should be stronger in this one. That doesn't mean they'll win, but I'll stick with them for now.
Okay, very good. So it's 5:20 over here, 7:20 game Sunday. Good for them. I'm going to pick Essendon because I don't think Carlton's very good. Melbourne v Collingwood at the MCG. This is not a night game. This is a Monday game.
Can I ask you a question, Scully? Can I ask you a question?
Just ask it.
Why do the public holidays not line up across the country?
Now we're talking.
Why in WA last week do we have a public holiday when pretty much no one else does? Maybe Queensland, I think, as well. And then this week, Melbourne have a public holiday on the Monday. So while everyone's at work, actually I'll be at shelter on Monday afternoon having lunch, while everyone else is at work, because I work. You're
taking your own public holiday.
I work weird hours. But why is most people at work can't watch this game because they're all at work? Why can't we just move it a week? And everyone link up and be a nation and all on the same page.
You do realise who this is on. This isn't on Victoria.
No, I know.
This is on Western Australia.
I know.
You can put daylight saving in there as well.
Absolutely, for me too. But why can't we just all have a public holiday at the same time? Because last week, how many emails did I get on Monday with no one realising it was a public holiday?
I'm out worked all because I'm bloody people getting content and so
exactly.
Why would you not be here?
And then next week you miss it because you expect it to work because it's not a public holiday here.
You're preaching to the choir, perhaps.
Can we just get this sorted, please, people?
I love it. It's stuff footy. Let's talk politics and bloody decision making. Daylight savings. Get off. All right, my curtains are suffering. All right. Melbourne Collingwood, big freeze event. We know what this has turned into. This is the 11th one, which pretty incredible. I think it's off the back of Neil Danaher, which we know this disease, MND. is a quick killer, to be honest.
Yeah.
And he's been able to be around and do such great things. Australian of the Year.
Yep.
Like, I don't know if
Unbelievable.
I don't think you can speak more highly of a person and what he's done in the face of such adversity, really.
Unbelievable.
We all have a bit of fun, and that's what it's meant to be, the big freeze, but it's for a really serious thing, and they've raised a lot of money in respect to find a cure for MND. So, couldn't speak more highly about it. Melbourne, Collingwood, big game as well at the MCG. Melbourne have only beaten Collingwood twice since 2016. One of them was 2020 at the Gabba, of course, in COVID. And this is, thanks to Aspect Accountants, Jack Crisp's 250th match in a row.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Which is, against Melbourne too, where Jim Steins held the record previously until Crisp beat it earlier on this season.
Yeah, correct. Who do you think wins this?
You can't tip Melbourne after last week again, but I think Collingwood have just shown that they love these big games, they love these big occasions, and their system at the moment, they're in tip-top form. Can Jamie Elliott keep his amazing run of goal kicking going on? It's terrific to see a small forward having such a good impact, but I think, the big occasion, big crowd at the MCG, I think Collingwood just get it done.
I think it was 72 the last time a small forward won the Coleman, so I hope he does it. I don't think he does. I will pick Collingwood, of course, because Melbourne aren't very good either. Fremantle and St Kilda have the bye. Let's quickly get through some questions and comments and perhaps out the door. I have mentioned this before and was proven correct. It's from Justin on YouTube. So I'll ask one more nicely. Please don't start hyping up Freo every time this occurs.
Flag medal.
We reply by crumbling. Please stop, from Justin.
There's been very heavy vibes of that going around from Freo fans massively, like just not trying to get ahead of themselves, just trying to keep a lid on things for now and not getting too excited because they've been burnt before, and there's that meme goes around every time. Get hope.
Stay a bit of positivity in Freo. Wagner is absolutely playing the house down at the moment, elevating himself from C to B plus and nearing A-grader territory very, very quickly indeed. If he maintains this sort of form, that sort of output from your role players is the type of stuff that can win you flags.
Keep a lid on it.
Oh, that's brilliant. I have this is from China, the side you don't see on YouTube. Thank you for contributions. I've been saying from the start of the season, Hawthorn will finish 9th or 10th. They had a dream run last year and caught most off guard, but with more scrutiny, the list is nowhere near good enough compared to others contending for the same spots in the 8. I don't disagree. But I think they've got a good enough list and coach to challenge this year. We'll just see if they can bounce back. And the last one, perhaps, it's going to be great timing. The way the Melburnians have blown the Wayne Miller comment up is a great example why I'm glad I left this shithole that Melbourne is, from Adam on YouTube. Is that you? No, that's not you.
No, it wasn't me.
Mate, thanks for joining us today on the Shelter FootyCast. I'm assuming you're going to go online, shelterbrewing.com.au, use Lager 20 and check out as we leave. Why don't you?
No,
I know you're not a lager man.
Yeah.
I know, but why don't you see if because you're gonna have some beers this weekend.
Yeah.
Why don't you have some and just see if it makes the footy better? And if it doesn't, let me know.
No, it'll still make the footy better. Like, I'm not saying I hate it. I'm just, if I have a choice between different beers, then I'll go for the ones with a little bit more, to my palate, with a little bit more flavour. But that's fine, for people of Skeeter's generation that just want to stick with the lager and go straight down the line. That's why there's a massive range of beers.
Good.
And I'll be in at Shelter on Monday sampling several.
We're trying hazy next week, in a couple of weeks.
Now, that is definitely my areas. The Shelter will be off the hook. The footy will be off the hook with a hazy.
Perhaps. You're a good man. Thanks for your time. Go and get yourself out of here. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.